It all has to do with how you maintain the clipper. So, does anybody actually know like the science behind how the hair gets cut with the clipper? No? Okay, I'll go over it quickly. There's a blade that's in front that comes in contact with the scalp, and then there's the actual cutting blade that's attached to the motor. And as you know, there's like the teeth at the top of the blade, and the motor is going to move the cutting blade like very, very, very quickly, back and forth, back and forth. So the hair that gets, the hair that passes through the teeth gets cut by the hair going back and forth, back and forth. So because there's a lot of friction, you always want to make sure that your clippers are properly cleaned and properly lubricated because of the traffic that's going back and forth, back and forth.
We can buy the oil separate, right?
Yeah, you can buy the oil separate. When you work with many different clients, you want to be very, very careful with the hygiene part of the clippers, because bacteria is bacteria. It doesn't matter if you're cutting your sister, your brother, your dad. So you want to make sure that you keep the clippers properly cleaned. What I like to do, what works for me, is based on the amount of hair that I cut, I'll remove the 2 blades that I just explained to you, and I'll put it in Barbicide for about 10 minutes, and I'll do that about once a week. And that, for me, is just my level of standards. There's not a lot of barbers that will do it as frequently as I do, but I'm kind of obsessive compulsive with that. I like to have a perfect track record. I don't want any of my clients to have any type of fungus in their head that's passed to them from one client to another, because it happens very frequently in the salon if your tools are not clean. So I like to use something that has, you can use a toothbrush, you can use a little brush like this. I use this little brush to clean my equipment, and this is just going to remove the hair that's in between the teeth and, you know, just kind of clean it up a little bit. And I've already kind of done the Barbicide process to this. I did it last night, so I'm just kind of showing you guys step by step. I like to use, these guys should pay me. I saw them at the hair show and they were just, anyway. Yeah, I like to use various types. I'm not going to necessarily say that I always use this brand, right? But I like to use various different types of shaver disinfectants. And what this is going to clean the shaver, it's going to disinfect it, and it's going to lubricate it at the same time. But sometimes I also add oil to the clipper just to make sure that it's properly lubricated.
Where do you put the oil?
Okay, if you look at the clipper from like a side profile,
Yeah.
there are 2 parts that are touching the outer blade. There's the upper part and the lower part, and they're kind of positioned on a track, so to speak. So what I like to do is put, I would say, 4 drops of oil on the clipper. So I'll do like the top left, the bottom left, the bottom right, and the top right. And I'll turn it on so that the lubrication is moving through the equipment properly. And then once I feel comfortable enough that it's actually moved through it properly, I'll adjust my adjustable lever on the side, which controls the height. If I push it up, it'll give me a shorter cut. If I push it down, it'll retain a little bit more of the length. But it's not that much length without one of the guards on it, right? This is like one of the lowest levels that you can cut the side of your hair with. So, before I do a haircut, I like to kind of shake the bottle a little bit, turn the clipper on, and I'll stand away about this far, and I'll just kind of lightly, don't worry, it's not going to get on me, right, on the front part and then on the back part, and I'll leave it on for like a couple of seconds. I'll turn it off, and then I'll get a cloth or a towel, and I'll remove some of the excess liquid that's applied to the shaver from the spray. And now I'm pretty much ready to go in terms of cutting the client's hair now. This shaver has been prepped and it's ready to perform the service. I'll repeat that step for the rest of my equipment. So I'll talk to you a little bit about the equipment that I use. It's I refer to it as a fader. It's something that I use I work with this tool a lot. this is how I get rid of my line of demarcation, and I pretty much am able to blend two different heights so that you're able to see like a smooth transition. And you know, it's like every tool is important, but everything does something different. I kind of look at it like these are my weapons, so I have like 4 different swords that I like to work with, right? And they all cut in a different way. Get it, guys? Sword and cut. You know?
Ninja.
All right. Okay, now this tool, it's the biggest shaver that I have. It has different blades that you can attach to it. And what's special about this tool is it's very, very powerful. The dread over there, I can remove all of his hair with this one. I don't have to do anything to his hair first. I can take everything off one shot with this. So yeah, it's a very, very powerful tool. It has a very powerful motor, and it's used for removing a lot of hair initially, right? So some people start the haircut like somebody who comes in with hair like this and says they want to bring it down as low as mine. I wouldn't bother working with this or any of the other ones. I want to just get it down to the base height as quickly as possible because, as you guys know in the salon, time is money. So I try to get it down as quickly as possible, and then once I have it down to, you know, the requested height of the client, I will start the actual haircut, where I'm detailing it. I'm either fading or I'm doing a fro hawk or whatever it is that they've requested. So the metal blades, there are a whole bunch of different metal blades that come for that. And for me, there are 4 that I like to use. Everybody's different, but the 4 that I like to use are the ones that I feel like I most commonly use. It's a 1.5, a 1A. I should have given my secrets away.
No, go ahead.
No, it's 1.5, 1A, a 2, and a 3.5. Those are the 4 clips that I use in terms of the metal ones. And, you know, I have various plastic clips. There's not like a big difference between the two. I kind of find the metal clips give you a little bit more of an accurate precision cut. It's, you know, it's metal on metal. The plastic ones, it's not to say that the cut is not accurate. You just might be required to go over the same section a few more times than you would with the other one. So you can get the same result, you just might have to be a little bit more patient, right? So that's pretty much it for the clipper maintenance and some of the tools that I'll be using. Does anybody have any question before I actually bring this mannequin to life?
If you're using the smaller tool, do you have to go through several different sizes to get it down, or can you use like
Which smaller tool?
Because you said with that stronger one that you could just cut straight.
Yeah.
So do you have to go from like a 4 to a 2 all the way down? Like
it's usually based on what the client wants. So let's just say that Johnny said, I want to have a number 1 on the sides and leave the top. So I am now trying to create a graduation from number 1, which would be one of the shortest clips that I have, to the top of the length of the hair that's on top, right? This is like what? This is about, I would say, 2 inches on the top. So we wouldn't touch the top. We would leave the top as is, and then I would start from the sides and work my way around.
But is there anything special you have to do if your hair is kind of long? That's what I mean. If you were using like a weaker tool, that's what I mean.
There's nothing really special. It's really based on what the customer requests. If he says that I want a number 1, which is kind of like the length of my hair all around, I'm not going to go from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 because it's just going to waste time.
No, but
So,
I meant like because you said you don't have to bother with something when you have the stronger one. You could just go cut it. But that's why I asked that. You know what I'm saying?
She's saying that if she doesn't have a real powerful clipper,
Yeah.
and she has one that's maybe not that great,
Oh,
should
okay.
she go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Any clipper will remove the hair, right?
Okay.
So I don't want to paint a picture of like you need the powerful one to, you know what I mean? It's not that. It's just that if, like I used an example like this gentleman over here, he has a lot of hair on his head.
Okay.
So if he came into the salon and said, you know what, I want to just take everything off, I wouldn't necessarily work down. I would just get straight to the point where he wants to be, because I know that he's not trying to save any of that hair or anything like this.
Okay.
This guy wants to save the top of his hair.
Okay.
So I'm not going to do anything to the top of it until I've established my length on the sides, and then I will gradually remove the line from the sides to the other side of it, and then the top part of it, right? So that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna actually start just this first part, and then I think you guys are gonna go back to your mannequin and try to mimic what it is that I'm doing. Okay, there's a few different ways that this can actually be done.
I have a question for you, David.
Sure.
Are we always cutting from the nape up? Is that how
Okay.
it's done? Or
Okay.
is there a way, particular way, or?
Okay.
I think.
The way I do it, everybody does it different, right? It's kind of like how we all sign our name differently. There is a correct procedure, though, that we learn in school, right? And for a men's haircut, I would say, for this guy, I would start towards the back and the sides. How I like to do it, like I said, people do it different ways, but I like to create a line of demarcation right around, a horizontal line right around the head. And that is where the haircut will start. It determines the length that the bottom's going to be, and it gives me an idea of how much of a graduation I'm going to need to put to blend the bottom into the top. Okay? So if just to make it simple, I will say start at the nape and work your way up to a comfortable height. You don't want to be too high. You want to be right at the I always struggled with that word. But I'm glad you guys know what I'm talking about. Been in the books, okay. So I will start. I don't know if this is too low. So yeah, Johnny wants a number one on the sides, and he wants a fade, and he wants to leave the top.
Can you tell me no? It's okay. I can see.
Watch the way he's.
Just to give you an idea of what just happened.
Oh my goodness. Oh, he's bald.
So this is the height that we're going to do the sides, and we will be blending this height into the top.
Question. Was that clipper actually touching the head to
Yes.
give you that height?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You gently press the clipper against the scalp. So I'll start by actually touching the nape with the clipper, and I'll slowly go up.
David, can you show us
Can you turn it around?
number 2 for us to see the difference between number 1 and 2, if it's possible?
Did that have a guard on it, or was that just the blade?
No, this is my, the clip that I've used is the 1.5.
Okay.
So that's this length here.
That's 1.5.
Yes, that's
So
1.5.
one is completely
No, this will make it completely
okay.
like,
Yeah.
you know, if you wanted it bald. Exactly.
Is there a special way to hold the tool? I heard that you're not supposed to.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to figure out who's talking.
I'm talking. I heard that you're not supposed to like really grip the tool, like you're supposed to kind of like keep it flexy, bendy in your hand. Is there a special way?
There is no special
How do
way.
you hold yours?
I hold mine like this.
Okay, see?
But the way how I kind of describe this, like for me, this is comfortable. We don't all, if you were to actually pay attention to how everybody holds a pen or a pencil, it's different.
Yeah.
So you have to hold the tool in a way that's comfortable for you, right? For me, this is comfortable. This is how I've been doing it. I know barbers who hold it like this.
Yes, I
Right?
saw that too.
So once again, I don't want to say don't hold it like, you know what I mean? It's your level of comfort and what's going to help you to achieve the best result. But for me, I'll hold it this way and I'll kind of scoop into the hair. So I'll kind of guide it right along the scalp. It doesn't hurt when you press it right against the scalp, right? I'll kind of guide it right against the scalp, and I'll try to create a horizontal line from about here all the way through. So when I'm finished, that's what I want to see. I want to see like this length on the top and this length on the back and the sides. Do you still want to see number 2?
Yes,
Okay.
can you maybe turn it, because that's too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you kind of need to be in front of it, but if you kind of.
Sorry.
It's
Alright.
hard for everybody.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that was 1.5. So I was asked to show 2, so I'm going to show 2 now.
Okay.
I don't have the 2 on the metal clip, so I'm using the plastic clip, but it'll give you the same result. Like I said, I just might have to go over it 3 more times, right?
So you see the scooping motion.
Right.
That's why you have to know where you're going to.
Yeah, you have to have an idea in your mind, because you don't want to go too high. You'll mess up the haircut. It's better you start off lower and work your way up, so that this way, if you need to correct anything, you haven't gone too far. You haven't like ruined the haircut, so to speak. So after the area that I've cut, I just kind of comb off the excess hair, and it makes it a little bit more clear. I have an idea of, you know, what needs to be removed or where I'm going to go through next. Right. So, and I mean, it's whatever the client asks, right? Somebody might ask for 1, somebody might ask for 2. It's whatever they're requesting. This is just the example I'm using for today. So don't think or feel you necessarily have to start at 1.5.
Can we do 2?
Yeah, sure, you can do 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do 2, that's fine.
Actually, it might be a good idea to do 2, so that you can go back.
Go back and correct
do 1.
it.
That was my question. Can you go back and do it again?
Yeah, because a customer might say, you know what, I want it number 2. And then you do it number 2, and they look in the mirror and they're like, you know what, can you take it down a little bit lower? So then you would go to the next level down, right? Because that happens frequently. They might think number 2 looks a certain way, but then when you actually start the haircut, you know, they might feel like, no, I don't want it.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Everyone says number 1, number 2, okay? Now, not all the time are your guards numbered like that. Sometimes it says 1/4, 3/8,
Yeah.
and all that, okay? So,
A 1/4 would be number 2. 3/8 would be number 3, and
Never like fractions.
Yeah, we gotta write these down.
Yeah.
I think just, and then, what's the other one, a half, right? There's another, sometimes there's a half, I can't remember.
there is, yeah,
That's the
this would be
number.
number 4.
Still wanna write.
3/8 would be number 3, and then
Yeah,
1
yeah.
doesn't have
So that's
I would say 1 is probably
Okay, so I should have wrote those in order, but when you get back to your clippers, it might not on your guard, it might not tell you 1, 2, 3, or 4. So if it gives you this instead, you've got to know what they're saying, because a lot of times clients, all they say, they're not going to say 3/8. They're going to say I want a 1 or a 2.
So
Yes.
it's just whatever the fraction is out of 8.
Yeah, of course. Listen to this one here.
That's
Yeah.
what I said.
That's exactly what it
Breaks
is.
my brain. So,
Yeah,
I don't
so
hear
3,
this.
this would be, yeah, out of 8.
Out
That's
of
right,
8.
a 1/4. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah. So if you're mathematically inclined, that's how it would work.
that was pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty good.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so I'm going to finish what I started and just kind of, like I said, so I'm going to try to, so we've done the theory on this, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I'm going to kind of cut at my regular pace, and like I said, I'm going for 1.5 around the sides, and I'm trying to create a line of demarcation right below the, who wants to say that word?
I can see it.
Hey guys, no YouTubing. Giving away the secrets.
No, I'm not going to use it. I can't afford it right now.
That's why we bought it.
Yeah, it was good.
What is that?
Not a phone,
JV. What is that?
just a video camera.
Oh, video camera. Okay. Wow. I thought it's a phone.
How clean over there. From the cold stuff. Can you like zoom in? Or no?
Now, guys, you know how David said the occipital bone?
Yeah.
That's a really good spot to start fading out with because, and if you notice, everybody's occipital bone is at a different part of the head. So depending on the shape of the head, okay, someone's occipital bone might be really low. So that would be, for them, a good point to be, starting to do your scooping out at. So it really does that bone. If you don't know how to locate it, you better figure it out before you start doing clipper cuts. Because you can make someone look like they got an egg head if you go too high. Okay?
Oh my God.
I can't hear you. That's even better because it's a better target. Yeah, but no, you wouldn't want to cut above it because then it will protrude.
Oh.
You want to almost cover it, right?
Oh.
So you just go up to it.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And unfortunately, the mannequins don't have it.
You have an idea.
But like what you're showing here on the side.
So,
She gone to he.
It's a he-she.
Yeah.
We're all gonna throw less time now.
so I'm just using the duster to remove the excess hair.
We don't do it wet, do we, can you?
No,
Never?
I don't.
Some people do.
What does it do to the clip?
What's the difference?
If you're allowed.
I feel as though when you cut, if you're using a real powerful one, you'd be able to get away with cutting wet, right? I find the clippers cut hair more accurately when the hair is dry and clean.
Yeah, because it will stick to the clipper.
And it also kind of, it sticks to the
Yeah.
clippers a little bit,
Clippers, yeah.
and it kind of slows it up. But if you have a clipper that has a real powerful motor, you'll be able to get away with doing it.
Can you get away with the clippers? They say you can do haircut when the hair is wet.
That's what he's just talking
Yeah,
about.
just like that.
How is that?
If anything, if the hair is wet, I would make sure it's really towel dry, not dripping on you.
Yeah, in my salon, they asked me to do the hair, not to use the clipper.
Yeah.
Do the tapering.
Oh,
Do the tapering.
Tapering.
Yeah.
Oh,
Scissor over comb.
Scissor.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that particular salon doesn't want clippers in the salon. They
wow.
want to do everything clipper.
But they use clipper, but not usually.
Certain things you need the clipper for. Try doing a lineup with like scissors. Like, it's not happening.
Maybe I have a question.
Go ahead.
In terms of now checking for balance,
Uh-huh.
do you check from behind the head or in front of the
front
head or
of the guy?
both, or like, well, how
I check for
exactly?
balance 360 degrees around the head,
So
everywhere.
you gotta go around
So
and,
yeah, oh, absolutely. If the client was in a chair, I'd be spinning them all around.
okay.
I saw that.
So there'd be a section like, you stand directly in front of the area that you're working on, and then once I've achieved the look that I'm trying to get to, I'll move to the next section, and I'll move to the next section, and I'll move to the next section.
Oh, are you? You're expensive tools.
I saved it. Okay. Yeah, so then I'll move to each section and try to make it balanced. So I'll look at him from the front and see like the graduation this way, and I'll look at him from the side and see it this way until I'm pleased with the end result.
Have you turned down a client who has like, let's say they have like skin, head,
Problem?
yeah, problem, like they have, have you turned them down? Like,
It all depends on what the problem is.
okay.
You have to be very mindful when you're working on a client that's requesting for you to cut their hair down so low where you can see like maybe they have a lot of ingrown hairs or ringworm or anything, and you got to kind of be mindful. If a client has ringworm, will I cut them? No.
Yeah.
Well, scalp abrasion could just be the result of sensitive scalp. They could have had a chemical treatment and it kind of irritated the scalp. It's a little bit different. That's not necessarily like a fungus or something that somebody else will catch. But if it's something that somebody else can catch, yeah, you want to kind of send them to the doctor, really.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so, are they supposed to go and try this? Okay.
Oh.
All right, so
David and I will walk around. Okay, so you